Hi everybody, it's me again, Charles Norman from Sports Solutions LLC. We are the creators of AthleticSOS, and it is a software that we allow you guys to use that will, if you're trying to get an athletic scholarship, it'll show you all of your options and opportunities so you can make the best fit for you as you try to go on this journey and get and secure an athletic scholarship. So in this video, we want to talk about how not to get sucker punched. And I consider being sucker punched is you're playing by the rules, you think you're doing everything the right way, but all of a sudden you get this big surprise at the end that you didn't see coming, but the other party kind of knew was going on. So, you know, it could be a gut punch, sucker punch, but so let's get started real quick here. So the biggest one for you guys is to find out at the last minute, after you've been spending a whole bunch of your time, to find out you don't even qualify to attend the school. That's the kind of sucker punch where you kind of did that to yourself, right? That's self-inflicted. But I want to talk about the ones where you really had no clue. There was nothing you could possibly do about it because you didn't see it, but now you will see it if it's happening to you. So the first one I will call the program protector. So let's assume there is a college or a school that has been looking at you and they offer you an athletic scholarship and you find out you're not getting a chance to play. And what they will do sometimes is they know you were looking at another school. So maybe there's about 3 or 4 competing schools, maybe within their conference or somewhere around where they might compete against that school or end up competing against that school for whatever reason. They will pick you up to keep you from going to that other program, even though they have someone in your position in mind that's going to be ahead of you. So now you have to end up beating that person out. So it is a way for them to protect their own program and have backup in case that person in front of you gets injured or something like that, but it's not giving you your best opportunity to play, especially if you wanted to play right away as a freshman or sophomore. You're gonna have to wait your turn, or they brought somebody in at the same time they brought you in. Now you're both freshmen, but they think more highly of that other person. So you wanna look out for that. Pay attention. You should be able to go in and see who else they're interested in. And a good way of doing that is to just ask the question, where am I on your pecking order and who are the other kids you're looking at? They should tell you that, and if they won't tell you that, then I would say keep looking for another school. So that's the first one. Now the second one is what I like to call the practice dummy. So this happens sometimes with programs. They have some other teams in their conference that maybe have a quicker kid or a bigger kid or a lengthier kid, and they see your kid playing somewhere in a tournament or a combine or a showcase somewhere, and they say, hey, that kid isn't as good as what we have, or they don't fit our program exactly, but they do fit that other program. I want to bring them in so in practice we can be practiced against them. They'll help us a lot getting prepared to play against those other kids. Now a lot of times they'll do this with you as a freshman, and then they're going to work you up to maybe being part of their program. So it's not necessarily a horrible thing, but it is something to look out for. Or do you really fit? And this is one of the reasons I tell you guys to go in and watch some of their games from the previous season and the season before that. Do they play your style? Do you really fit into how they play? And if you don't, that could be a good sign that you're being brought in as a practice dummy, and it's something to look out for. You can't always tell what's going on, but it's something to think about. Now this one to me is the most dangerous one. I call this the feeder favor. And so what happens is a lot of college programs, especially at some of the lower level, they have travel club programs and high school programs that feed them kids, that they get kids year after year after year from. And so what will happen is they will do a favor to that program. So they want kid A, but that program says, okay, if you're gonna get kid A, then I need you to take this kid C over here. And because I promised those parents that I would help them out. Great kid, works really hard, maybe can't play at that level, or maybe it's not the best of the best for what you're normally looking for. And then that college coach will say, okay, I'll take them in. No, they have no intention of ever playing that other kid all the way through their 4 years. Maybe by the senior year, they'll get them and give them a few minutes, but you don't want to go and do that. You want to be wanted if you're going to get an athletic scholarship. You don't want to be a throw-in for something. So be very, very careful of that. So if you're in a really high-level travel club program, be very cognizant of the idea of the feeder favor, and you end up getting a scholarship so they can put on their website how they get all these kids these scholarships, and you find out you were never in the cards to play. You were just sort of a throw-in so they can get someone else. So this one I don't like the most, so be very careful. Now the next one could be a good thing or a bad thing. If you can get to the school you want academically because you have these great grades, and I call this one the academic ringer. So a few years ago, both NAIA and the NCAA put some onus onto the programs to make sure that their kids are keeping their grades up. So they're looking at the GPA for the whole group, for the whole team, right? And so what colleges started doing was bringing in these kids that have these fantastic study habits and have these great grades, and so they're going to lift up the GPA for the whole team, which makes the program look good. But again, they may not have any will to let you play in the games, and that's what you're going there for. Hopefully you're going to play and get your college education, but you also, you want to participate. And so what you don't want to do is be brought in for any reason other than the fact that you can play the game and that you're going to get a chance to get on the court or on the field or whatever you're doing. You're going to be able to participate and compete. Why get on the team if you're not going to do that? And so this is another way of doing that. You've got these great grades, they bring you in, you lift up maybe one or two kids that may not have the grades but are fantastic athletes, and so there's a balance. But you don't want to be the balancer, okay? You want to be the kid they brought in that just happened to be a great student but can play the game at the right level. You tick all the boxes off, and so that is what we're trying to get you to put yourself in the best position to participate and to get your degree and keep moving on. And then finally, there's what I call the possibility. So this is usually the kid that's got this great size or this great height or something else. They don't have the skill set necessarily to play at the level that they're being recruited for, but the coach is thinking maybe in 2-3 years, we can build them into what we want them to do. Again, not necessarily a terrible thing. I don't want you to be afraid of those situations, and then you can start working out on your own before you even get to the school, and then work with the coaches after practice and maybe they can get you where you need to be. So it's not necessarily a terrible thing, but I just want you guys to be aware of it so you don't get sucker punched and think they brought you in for one reason and it ends up that they brought you in for another reason. So I call that one the possibility. Possibly, if we really work them really hard, we can get them to where we can trust them on the field. And that's a big, big deal for playing high school and college sports. Is, does the coach trust you on the field? The only problem with the possibility one for me is that everything you do is scrutinized. So somebody else can make a mistake during the game or during practice, and the coach is like, hey guys, let's pay attention, let's work on stuff that's detail, and then you do the exact same thing and the world just came to an end. Go run laps, get out of the practice, that you just treat it with a little bit of disdain, and nobody wants that, especially when you're young. You don't want to go through that like everything I do is wrong. Why would you put yourself in that situation? So I do not want that to happen to you. And then the final one for us is that you did not know all of your options and opportunities, and that to me is you shooting yourself in the foot. Those are self-inflicted wounds. And so I talked a little bit earlier about you find out academically you didn't even qualify, but even worse to me is that you had all these other options and you ended up going to a school because that school was kind of looking at you for one of those other reasons maybe, and you didn't even know, oh, I could have gone here or gone here, and they would have loved to have taken me in. They really need what I do. So those are the kind that our software is trying to solve. And so you can use our software at no cost. And I tell you guys this over and over again. Now the code that I give you guys, and I'm going to give you down below the instructions, the code to use, so you can use our software at no cost. That is for kids trying to get an athletic scholarship. If you are a program like a high school or travel club program, you can also contact me and I can give you guys a different code, and that will cover the kids trying to get the athletic scholarship and the kids that are trying to just go to college in general, right? Your athletes on your program that are just trying to go to school, and we also have trade schools in there. So that is our big piece. But for what I do here on this channel, when you see me, this is for the kids trying to get athletic scholarships, and then the code I'm going to give you is going to allow you to do all the searches you need to do. You're going to find the right school, the one that fits you, just by doing a little bit of research and using our software in that combination, and we're going to put you in the best position to be successful as you move forward in everything you want. So that's my goal, and that's why I do these things, these videos. All right, guys, so don't get sucker punched, or at least recognize when it's a possibility. And remember, like I said earlier, just ask the question, hey, where am I in your list of kids that you're looking at? What number am I? Am I number 1, number 5? do they really, really want you? Because what you don't want them to do is you're number 5 or 6, or they're just keeping you, stringing you along. And if they get number 1, 2, or 3, and 4, that you don't even get this, you don't even get the offer. And that's the worst. That's the one that I see that really seems to be the worst to me, because that school didn't let you off the hook. They didn't lie to you. They just left some information out. And so ask the question. Sometimes I know it's very painful to ask, because it sounds like you're not sure of yourself, or you might blow it because, you know, why would you ask that, you know, that kind of thing. Like you think you're doing something that will make them think less of you. You don't have time for that, right? You don't want to get stuck. And now it's in March right now, and I've got a ton of kids that are writing us saying, hey, you know, we thought we had this thing set, but we never got the offer. And now we're scared and we're in trouble here. And so they're trying to use the software to find other options and opportunities. Don't even get yourself in that. You need to find this out earlier. 11th grade, you should already know whether or not that school is dead serious on you. And you should have about 4 or 5 of schools that are dead serious about you, where you're going to make the final choice, not them. All right, guys, thank you again. As always, best of luck to you guys in everything that you're trying to do. Let us help you with the software. There's no reason not to use it. Even if you think you've got everything locked down, go ahead and use the software anywhere and get yourself about 5 to 10 schools that you kind of sit in your back pocket in case something goes off the rails here. And then you've got an alternative. You can move really quickly and say, oh, let's go look over here now, because this is not going the way we thought. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.